The scent of Arabian oud, heavy and sweet, clung to the marble walls of the majlis, a perfume of ancient traditions struggling against a modern emptiness. Dubai shimmered beyond the soaring windows, a city of impossible dreams and relentless heat. Yet within this grand room, an unnatural chill persisted. Zara, barely 3 months old, felt it acutely in her tiny bones, a deep cold that even the finest silk swaddles could not penetrate. Her cries, raw and ceaseless, were not just a baby's wail, but a desperate lament echoing the vast, silent grief of the palace. Her small body, once a fragile marvel of creation, now felt a constant, prickling agitation. Her eyelids, perpetually swollen, fluttered against the relentless burn behind them, longing for a darkness that never quite came. The world was a blur of muted light and echoing sounds, each a fresh assault on her overstimulated senses. She craved stillness, a quiet peace that seemed to exist only in fleeting, half-remembered dreams. But always, the underlying hum of distress thrummed through her, a tiny, insistent drumbeat of suffering that no lullaby, no rocking, no gentle word could quiet. She was a pearl on velvet, exquisite and precious, yet her very existence seemed to be a tableau of exquisite torment. Her father, Khalid, a man of immense power, often approached her cradle, his tailored thobe a stark contrast to his disheveled spirit, his eyes mirroring her own unyielding anguish. He whispered promises of solace she could not comprehend, his despair a palpable weight in the opulent air. The majlis, designed for grand pronouncements and quiet reflection, now served as an unwitting stage for a profound, unspoken sorrow, its grandeur amplifying the piercing vulnerability of its smallest inhabitant. Every ornate detail, every gilded arch, every polished surface seemed to mock the deep, unyielding ache in Zara's infant heart. She simply existed, a tiny vessel of misery adrift in a sea of unspoken longing. A sudden, gentle voice cut through the endless symphony of her distress, a melodic warmth that felt like an unexpected balm. The sound of soft footsteps approached, a comforting rustle of fabric. Then, a touch, infinitely tender, brushed against her cheek. A woman's face, etched with genuine concern, hovered above her, her eyes deep pools of kindness. "Why are you sitting here all alone, precious one?" The warmth of the voice, a contrast to her glacial solitude, pricked Zahra's dulled senses. Her tiny body, usually rigid with unseen discomfort, softened minutely against the caress, a fleeting surrender to unfamiliar kindness. The woman's gaze, a quiet solace in her blur, promised understanding beyond adult pity. Not Khalid's heavy sorrow, nor the nanny's brisk efficiency, but a reverent attention. The words, though their meaning remained veiled, carried genuine inquiry, an invitation to a connection she had never known. Her cries, for the first time in an eternity, hesitated. A fragile silence emerged. A knot in her small chest loosened, letting a sliver of unburdened breath in. She turned toward this warmth, clouded eyes seeking the contours of the compassionate face. A scent, soft like desert rain after drought, mingled with lingering oud, earthy, comforting, promising quietude. The touch lingered, feather-light, soothing the deep, wordless ache within. The world, a cacophony of blurred impressions, coalesced around this single point of warmth. Her small hands, usually clenched tight, relaxed, fingers unfurling as if reaching for the comfort. A profound exhaustion, different from restless fatigue, settled, a weariness whispering of true rest. The burning behind her eyes dimmed, the sharp edges of suffering softened. The woman filled the majlis not with grandeur, but with quiet, reassuring strength, a silent anchor. She remained a patient observer, offering compassion as shelter. The baby's breath hitched and steadied, finding a nascent rhythm less frantic. The hum of distress receded to a distant drone, allowing a fragile space of peace. This new sensation was welcome, a brief truce against the invisible forces plaguing her. The woman, with gentle eyes and touch, became a conduit for a solace Zara had only dreamt of. Her essence was a melody Zara's heart had long yearned to hear. Air lightened, infused with warmth. The woman did not pick her up or force a pacifier. She simply stayed, her empathetic gaze affirming Zara as worthy of gentle care. The world narrowed to this profound interaction. Other input faded. A soft sigh escaped Zara, a near imperceptible relief, a tiny bridge between her pain and possible comfort. The woman's expression held quiet strength, an oasis in Zara's storm. The baby's unfocused gaze traced lines of empathy in the woman's face, a silent primal conversation. A single crystalline tear, not of pain but recognition, traced Zara's cheek. The woman's hand moved, not to wipe it, but to cup Zara's tiny foot, grounding and reaffirming her presence. The weight of the world momentarily lifted. Zara could simply be. Her breathing deepened, slower and more even, an ember of hope igniting. The Majlis, for once, felt less like a gilded cage and more like a space where quiet healing might begin. The echoes of earlier cries faded into a silence filled with shared humanity. Her small frame yielded. The tremors ceased. For precious moments, the world became a sanctuary of unexpected peace. She was truly seen, an unexpected miracle unfolding in the vast emptiness. A profound stillness settled upon Zara, a soft current pulling her from the familiar tempest within. The burning receded from her eyes, replaced by a gentle haziness, a quiet world unfolding beyond the fierce grip of pain. She registered the woman's warmth, not as intrusion, but as a protective cloak against the chill that had long been her companion. A sigh, lighter than any breath she had drawn before, escaped her lips, carrying a fragile surrender. The woman's fingers, still cradling her tiny foot, conveyed a silent promise of steadfastness, anchoring Zara to a present moment, free of past torment or future dread. Each inhale became less a struggle. The air itself seemed to carry newfound sweetness. The Majlis's intricate patterns, once oppressive, softened into a backdrop for an unfolding intimacy. Zara's attention, no longer fragmented, focused on the gentle rise and fall of the woman's chest, a steady rhythm mirroring the slow beating of her own tiny heart. The blurred vision that plagued her held a soft focus on the woman's serene expression, a landscape of quiet compassion that offered refuge. This was not the fleeting comfort of a lullaby. It was an unwavering presence that resonated with unspoken understanding. For the first time, a current of hope stirred within her, a whisper of a future where suffering might not be the sole architect of her life. The persistent hum of distress, a constant since birth, attenuated to a distant echo, like a storm receding. She was acutely aware of the woman's breath, a soft exhalation woven into the air around them, creating a private sphere of tranquility. Her small body, long a battleground, released tension. Muscles she hadn't known were taut, unclenched. The world outside their quiet communion, with its opulent demands, faded into an indistinct murmur, allowing Zara to exist in the delicate space between her yielding form and the woman's sustaining touch. A profound sense of being truly seen washed over her, a recognition beyond words. It was as if the woman acknowledged not just the infant, but the struggling spirit within, affirming her right to peace. This unspoken dialogue, carried on breath and touch, created a bond far more potent than any spoken reassurance. Light through the high windows, previously harsh, diffused into a benevolent glow, illuminating the delicate dance between their souls. Zahra's small hands, once curled into tight fists, began to unfurl, a silent testament to burgeoning trust. The faint scent of the woman's natural essence, subtle and grounding, mingled with residual oud, turning the palace air into a blend of ancient luxury and organic comfort. Zara's eyelids, once swollen and agitated, now rested with newfound softness, allowing her to observe without constant sting. A quiet strength emanated from the woman, a rooted calm that steadied Zara in a way no medicine or decree ever could. The Majlis, once a symbol of isolation, hummed with a different power, born of empathy and the quiet miracle of connection. Her gaze, still somewhat unfocused, lingered on the woman's eyes and found an infinite wellspring of care. The soft murmur of a distant fountain now accompanied their stillness. Zara's limbs, once restless, lay placid and still, a tiny flame shielded from gusting winds. The silence around them was not empty but rich with the unspoken language of compassion, a tender exchange that transcended age and understanding. Warmth spread through her chest, not just physical, but an emotional resonance like coming home after a long, arduous journey. This gentle awakening marked a turning point. The woman's presence had not just soothed her, it had begun to heal the deeper wounds of her early existence, loosening the tight knots of fear and discomfort that defined her short life. Zara sensed a profound unfolding within, a quiet blossoming that promised more than relief from pain, a possibility of a different reality altogether. The grandeur of her surroundings, though still present, no longer overshadowed the intimate miracle taking root in this quiet space, where a fragile yet powerful bond had begun to grow. The whisper of dawn found Yasmin in the marble palace gardens, communing with light that painted the Doha skyline in rose and gold. No longer merely a cleaner or nanny, she moved with the quiet dignity of the palace's mistress, a role embraced not from ambition, but from love forged in adversity and sealed by devotion. Khalid often joined her, his hand finding hers, a silent acknowledgement of the peace they had built, a force against lingering echoes of past torment. Their mornings unfolded in a symphony of gentle awakenings, doves cooing in the eaves, the soft rustle of silk as Samira, now head governess, prepared the repast, and the delighted gurgles of Zara and Hana from their sunlit nursery. The twins, taking their first adventurous steps, pursued each other through the rooms, their laughter no longer haunted but purely joyful. Yasmin watched them, her heart swelling with a reverent wonder at this quiet miracle. To see them thrive, two resilient desert roses in a crystal dome, blooming under the steady sun of a chosen family, was daily proof of hope restored. She would sometimes close her eyes, recalling the desolate chill that once permeated these walls, a stark contrast to the warmth now radiating from every corner. Khalid, reading her stillness, understood the silent story in her gaze, the depths from which they had risen, the shadows they had dispelled. His life, once a barren desert, was now verdant, nourished by Yasmin's tender heart and the love she poured into his daughters. The palace's intricate patterns, once symbols of solitary grandeur, now wove a tapestry of shared moments, each thread a cherished memory of resilience and affection. Hana, curious-eyed, would bring a forgotten toy, inviting Yasmin into her innocent world. Yasmin would kneel, her chiffon headscarf a soft halo, immersed in pure delight. Zahra, bolder, clung to Khalid's thobe, pulling him into their games and transforming the powerful Sheikh into a fully engaged, joyful father, his laughter unrestrained and genuine. The desperate cries of earlier days were vanquished, replaced by the persistent chatter of healthy, growing girls. Even Rania, Yasmin's mother, and now a frequent visitor, remarked on the palace's change. Once imposing and cold, it had become a true home, infused with Yasmin's nurturing spirit. The journey had been arduous, a testament to the venomous bloom that nearly destroyed them. Yet Yasmin's steady courage and the desert wind had carried them through the harshest storms. Each evening, as the skyline burned gold and the city seemed to promise tomorrow, Yasmin and Khalid gathered Zara and Hana into their arms, a tender tableau of peace against the fading light. Their chosen family, a precious pearl on velvet, whispered promises of countless tomorrows filled with love and contentment. It was a silence rich with the understanding of harmonized hearts, the knowledge that greatest battles lay behind them, and a calm, endless happiness stretched ahead. Their breaths intertwined, a testament to a future built on truth and devotion, a legacy whispered in the peaceful sleep of their beloved daughters, eternally cherished. The dawn, each day a fresh parchment, etched new stories onto the landscape of their lives within the palace walls. The quiet understanding between Yasmin and Khalid deepened with every shared glance, a bond woven tighter by time and the gentle unfolding of their daughters' spirits. The air, once heavy with unspoken sorrow, now vibrated with the light-hearted cadence of childish laughter, a melody more precious than any courtly symphony. Zara and Hana, no longer infants clinging to the vestiges of distress, navigated the ornate rooms with burgeoning confidence, their small hands tracing the gilded patterns of home. Yasmin often paused, a soft smile on her lips, marveling at the personalities blooming within each girl. Hana, inquisitive, led them toward hidden nooks and sun-drenched alcoves, eager to uncover the palace's secrets. Zara, more introspective, sat watching the play of light on marble, her quiet contemplation hinting at a depth beyond her years, yet always ready to join in joyful escapades. The gardens, once a solitary refuge, transformed into a vibrant playground where jasmine mingled with fresh earth and the girls' footsteps imprinted paths through manicured lawns. Stripped of the mantle of leadership at home, Khalid joined their games. His booming laughter attested to the unburdening of his soul. He chased them through rose bushes, his rich thobe billowing, a playful lion among two spirited cubs. Yasmin, under the cool shade of an archway, felt a profound peace, a sense of having arrived at a long-sought haven, forged from resilience and love. The echoes of past storms faded to distant memory, replaced by the comforting hum of domestic bliss. Each evening, as the sun dipped and painted the sky in fiery hues, the family gathered, their silhouettes framed against the fading light, a living tableau of harmony and belonging. These moments, simple yet sacred, were cornerstones of their shared existence, building a foundation of security that let the girls explore and dream without fear. The palace, once imposing, had become a home imbued with their collective warmth. The very stones seemed to absorb their joy, radiating silent contentment. Yasmin reflected on the journey, the hardships faced and battles won, feeling quiet gratitude for the peace that enveloped them. Her mother, Rania, now a permanent fixture, shared tales from her youth, weaving heritage and wisdom that captivated the girls. The matriarch's presence added another layer of love and tradition, ensuring that as they embraced the present, their roots remained deeply planted. These familial bonds formed a protective circle around them. The girls grew, voices gaining confidence, questions becoming more profound, challenging Yasmin and Khalid to new facets of parenthood. They no longer cared only for tiny bodies but nurtured developing minds, guided curiosities, and fostered unique spirits. The responsibility was immense, yet embraced with joy and purpose. Each day brought discoveries, challenges, and new reasons to marvel at their lives. The whispers of a legacy were no longer mere promises in sleep. They took tangible form, with every shared smile and story beneath the star-pricked desert sky. The future, while unknown, felt less daunting, more a landscape of opportunity to explore together. A deep, abiding quietude settled over the palace each night, testament to lives richly lived and deeply loved. The delicate peace blooming within Zara's small world, a silent miracle born of Yasmin's presence, chilled as the palace's authority reasserted itself. Khalid al-Maktoum, usually resolute, but now profoundly weary, approached Yasmin, the weight of professional counsel and fear for his daughters visible on his broad shoulders. His tailored thobe, typically a symbol of power, seemed to sag with a despair he could no longer conceal. His words came steeped in regret and a clear dismissal, necessary protocols, the unyielding demands of medical expertise, a fragile situation requiring stringent oversight. He invoked the responsibility of their care, the constant vigilance premature infants demanded, each rationale a precise blade against Yasmin's spirit. Her heart, which had begun to mend in the tranquil presence of Zara and Hana's sleep, fractured anew. To be told she could no longer comfort or touch the very beings who had offered her solace was a familiar, devastating pain, echoing her own quiet grief. He averted his gaze, unable to meet the hurt in her eyes. The ornate room amplified her isolation, the fragile warmth between her and the twins threatened by an unseen frost. Even as dismissal stung, the twins continued to slumber, their small chests rising and falling in rhythmic tranquility, oblivious to the quiet tragedy. Their peaceful faces, free of the earlier distress, offered a poignant counterpoint to Yasmin's growing unease. The nursery door swung open, and Noura al-Hassan entered, a sleek silhouette of composure. Her haute couture abaya read like armor, a faint, controlled smile on sculpted lips that never reached her sharp, calculating eyes. From her elegant medical bag, she retrieved 2 syringes, their slender forms catching the sterile light. With practiced, ritualistic movements, she administered a clear, colorless liquid to the sleeping infants. Yasmin watched from a discreet distance, alarm prickling through her. The detached efficiency felt disturbingly wrong. What was being introduced into those tiny, recently freed bodies? A chilling question tightened in her mind. As the last drop fell, Noura closed her bag with a soft, decisive click, a finality that echoed through the nursery. Yasmin, unable to shake the suspicion of profound wrongness, retreated quietly, fearing to disturb the fragile calm. Just as she cleared the grand doorway, a low whisper reached her. a venomous tendril through the air. This one almost ruined everything. The words hung like a silent declaration of a hidden battle. Alone in the palace's vast opulence, Yasmin felt the cold weight of a sinister plot beginning to unfold around Zara and Hannah. The fragile hope she had kindled flickering like a candle in a sudden gust. A chilling certainty settled within Yasmin, replacing comfort with an internal cold, far more penetrating than the palace's grandeur. The nursery's curated serenity, moments before a testament to nascent healing, now seemed a fragile illusion masking something profoundly wrong. Her thoughts, usually a clear current, tangled as she faced Noura's cold efficiency, the subtle venom of her influence seeping into the twins' recovery. Khalid's averted gaze, a silent acquiescence to unseen pressures, echoed in the hollow chambers of her spirit, confirming he remained ensnared by manipulation, unable to perceive the threat beneath strict protocols. Yasmin's recent solace in Zara and Hannah's soft exhalations felt like a fading dream, shattered by murmurs of a hidden agenda. Each heartbeat pulsed with escalating urgency, a primal instinct to shield the innocent lives entrusted to her. Yet she was constrained by the unwritten laws of a world that dismissed her intuition. The palace's arches, once symbols of beauty, now loomed oppressive and complicit. The vibrant tapestry of hope they had mended began to unravel, thread by agonizing thread, revealing only stark dread. She pictured colorless fluid coursing through tiny vessels, a silent betrayal of their brief sanctuary. A silent scream formed within her, not personal grief, but fierce, protective desperation for the children. The lingering scent of Arabian oud, once luxury, turned suffocating, heavy with deception. She moved through echoing halls, each step a testament to mounting anxiety, shadows shifting at the periphery. The hushed palace rhythm, formerly soothing, now resembled an unseen clock, counting down to an ominous end. Her connection to the girls, though physically separated, throbbed with an intensity beyond proximity. She sensed their vulnerability as if it were her own. The air thickened, charged with a prelude to a confrontation more perilous than any desert tempest. Noura's composed, detached features returned to her, and a cold clarity washed over Yasmin. This was deliberate malevolence, fueled by animosity she could barely fathom. Zara's single tear, once a beacon of connection, felt threatened by encroaching darkness. Yasmin's hands ached to comfort, but remained suspended and empty, emblematic of her enforced helplessness. The marble patterns blurred before her, reflecting inner turbulence. The palace, magnificent yet maze-like, offered no sanctuary. Each turn risked deeper entrapment. She longed for the open gardens, the honest earth beneath her feet, a stark contrast to polished artifice. The fountain's distant sounds, once peace, now mocked her as a cruel echo of what was being dismantled. She understood, with conviction that pierced her core, that the true battle for Zara and Hannah's future had begun, and the odds were stacked against her in this silent, opulent struggle. She must penetrate the impenetrable wall of influence and shield her daughters, even if it meant confronting the most formidable powers of this intricate world. A nascent resolve, fierce and unyielding, solidified within her, pushing back despair, a tenacious spark refusing to be extinguished. The destiny of the two innocents rested on her shoulders, a burden she accepted with quiet, steely determination, now prepared to face an adversary cloaked in silk and veiled by whispers. A nascent resolve, fierce and unyielding, solidified within her, pushing back despair, a tenacious spark. The destiny of the two innocents rested on her shoulders, a burden she accepted with quiet steel, prepared to face an adversary cloaked in silk and veiled by whispers. The chill of impending battle invigorated Yasmin, sharpening her senses. Every shadow held a clue, every hushed conversation a double meaning. She moved with stealth, her gaze sweeping the palace's opulence, no longer admiring but scrutinizing for weaknesses in Noura's facade. Luxuries and mosaics that once intimidated now seemed flimsy against the steel of her purpose. She needed allies, but discretion was paramount. Trust was rare in these gilded halls. Khalid, blinded by fear and duty, remained beyond her reach, entangled in Noura's manipulation. Yasmin understood his struggle, but empathy could not outweigh the urgency of the twins' peril. She would navigate the labyrinth alone, armed with intuition and a mother's fierce love. Zara's single tear burned like a silent plea. Hana's mischievous eyes, now vulnerable, solidified her commitment. She would not let these fragile blooms wither under a poison they could not comprehend. Her first task was to learn the nature of the liquid Noura had administered. The medical bag, the syringes, the ritual precision. These pointed to a calculated scheme, not necessity. Yasmin began to observe, to listen, to piece together fragments scattered through the palace. She lingered near staff quarters, nannies' whispers, kitchens where gossip rooted itself. The palace, once grand and silent, revealed itself as a hive of shifting loyalties. She learned to read averted glances and sudden silences. The opulence felt less like a cage and more like a veil hiding darker truths. She needed someone who saw beyond the glitter. Confronting Noura directly would be a tactical error. Yasmin needed irrefutable proof, a weapon of observation and facts. The nights became her reconnaissance. While the palace slept, she moved its corridors like a ghost, bare feet, silent on marble. She kept vigil outside the nursery, listening to the twins' even breathing. Their peace, once solace, now filled her with unease. What happened behind that door after Noura's visits? The balance of their health, recently restored, teetered on a precipice. Khalid's exhaustion hinted at exploitation. Was he misled? The questions pricked her heart. She was playing a dangerous game with immeasurable stakes. The air hummed with conspiracies, and Yasmin, once gentle, was forging into a guardian shaped by desperation. Her resolve hardened. She would unravel the deceit no matter the cost. Dawn promised only the continuation of her solitary, perilous quest. The path ahead was uncertain, yet her determination shone like a beacon in the gloom. The palace's silence, once comfort, now felt complicit. But Yasmin was no longer only an observer. She was a force ready to disrupt a carefully constructed facade. The tender bond with Zara and Hana became her guiding star through treacherous deception. She would not rest until the truth was unveiled, and the innocent shielded from the venomous shadows. The chill of impending battle invigorated Yasmin, sharpening her senses. Every shadow held a clue, every hushed conversation a double meaning. She moved with stealth, her gaze sweeping the palace's opulence, no longer admiring but scrutinizing Noura's facade for weakness. Luxuries and mosaics that once intimidated now seemed flimsy against the steel of her purpose. She needed allies, but discretion was paramount. Trust was rare in these gilded halls. Khalid, blinded by fear and duty, remained beyond her reach, entangled in Noura's manipulation. Yasmin understood his struggle and misplaced faith, but empathy could not outweigh the twins' peril. She would navigate the labyrinth alone, armed with intuition and a mother's fierce love. Zara's single tear burned like a silent plea. Hana's mischievous eyes, once joyful, now looked vulnerable, hardening Yasmin's commitment. She would not let these desert blooms wither under an unknowable poison. Her first task was to learn the nature of the colorless liquid Noura had administered. The medical bag, syringes, and ritual precision pointed to a calculated long-term scheme, not necessity. Yasmin observed and listened with heightened awareness, piecing together fragments scattered through the palace. She lingered near staff quarters, where nannies' whispers carried truths, and in kitchens, where gossip rooted. The palace revealed itself as a hive of shifting loyalties and hidden agendas. She learned to read averted glances, the silences after mentions of Noura, and the discomfort in long-serving faces. Confronting Noura directly would be catastrophic. Yasmin needed irrefutable proof, a silent weapon forged from observation and fact. Noura's pristine haute couture abaya and composed smile that never reached calculating eyes fueled Yasmin's resolve. The faint sweetness of Arabian oud, once comforting, now clung to the air like a premonition. Nights became reconnaissance. While the palace slept, she moved through echoing corridors like a ghost, bare feet hushed on marble. The cold underfoot reminded her of the reality she faced. Each step, a declaration of grim resolve. She kept vigil outside the nursery, listening to the twins' soft breathing, a fragile sound tethering her to purpose. Their precarious peace, once solace, now filled her with unease. It was a quiet easily shattered by unseen forces. What insidious rituals followed Noura's clandestine visits, all under the guise of compassionate care. The balance of their health, recently restored by Yasmin's intuitive care, teetered on a precipice. Khalid's exhaustion and deeper shadows hinted at systematic exploitation. A powerful man ensnared in a silken trap. Was he misled by grief or unwilling to face the truth? The questions pricked her heart. She was playing a dangerous game with terrifying stakes. The twins' lives and futures hung by a thread. The air hummed with conspiracies beneath the palace's calm. Yasmin, once gentle, was forging into an unyielding guardian, her spirit reshaped by desperation. Her resolve hardened. She would unravel Noura's deceit, no matter the cost. Dawn, painting the Doha skyline in rose and gold, promised only the continuation of her solitary quest, a silent vow on the desert wind. Every gilded arch and polished surface could be both cover and revelation if she looked closely. The plain jilbab she wore felt like a uniform for a clandestine war. The path ahead was uncertain, shrouded by Noura's influence, yet her determination shone like a beacon. The palace's silence, once comfort, now felt complicit. Yasmin was no longer a passive witness. She was a force ready to disrupt a carefully constructed facade and shatter the illusions Noura maintained. The bond with Zara and Hana became her guiding star, a pearl of purity against unfolding evil. She would not rest until the truth was unveiled, and the innocent shielded from the venomous shadows that sought to consume them. The air thickened around her, charged with the gravity of a confrontation more perilous than any desert tempest. She was the quiet strength, the gentle wind rising against a storm of malice that threatened all she held dear. The path ahead was uncertain, shrouded by Noura's influence, yet Yasmin's determination shone like a beacon. The palace's silence, once comfort, now felt complicit. She was no longer a passive witness, but a force ready to disrupt the carefully constructed facade and shatter Noura's illusions. Her bond with Zara and Hana became a guiding star, a pearl of purity against unfolding evil. She would not rest until the truth was unveiled and the innocent shielded from shadows that sought to consume them. The air thickened, charged with the gravity of a confrontation more perilous than any desert tempest. She was the quiet strength, a gentle wind rising against a storm of malice. A new day painted the eastern sky bruised purple, yet for Yasmin the world remained cloaked in the urgent grey of conflict. The reserve she harbored now pulsed with focused energy, a silent war cry through the marble palace. Each gilded arch and polished surface no longer spoke of idle luxury, but of hidden passages and veiled intentions. Her gaze, once seeking comfort, scanned for inconsistencies, for the minute cracks in Noura's veneer of competence. Yasmin knew her adversary was a master manipulator, weaving deceit that even Khalid's weary heart could not escape. The air, usually fragrant with blooms, carried a faint metallic tang, the phantom scent of the sterile liquid Noura administered. Yasmin pieced together fragments, stray whispers, subtle shifts in staff demeanor when Noura's name arose. She understood the peril of misstep in a world where appearances often outweighed truth. She moved through the palace with ghost-like grace, a shadow among shadows, observing, analyzing, waiting. The memory of Zara's single tear, less pain than recognition, became an ember in her heart, fueling her quest. Khalid, powerful yet adrift in sorrow, was clouded by grief and misplaced trust in medical authority. Yasmin saw the toll of sleepless nights and slumped shoulders, evidence of Noura's psychological erosion. She longed to reach him, to tear down his walls, but direct confrontation was a luxury she could not afford while the twins remained vulnerable. The desert rose, blooming against odds, offered inspiration and a reminder of the delicate balance between life and peril. Her strategy was woven from patience and acute observation. She became a silent collector of details, the timing of Noura's visits, hushed conversations among nannies, the subtle changes in the twins' sleep after each clandestine treatment. The palace, once a gilded cage, transformed into a stage for a battle of wits, a dance between protector and predator. Irrefutable proof, cold, hard facts, would be her weapon. She would not allow the shadows to consume the lives entrusted to her care. Every instinct screamed urgency. The weight of this unspoken war pressed upon her, a constant thrum beneath her calm. Yet within it a new strength forged itself, resilient and unbreakable. She was no longer simply Yasmin, the compassionate caregiver. She was a guardian, a silent sentinel between innocence and deceit. The quiet moments in the nursery, listening to the twins' fragile breaths, were her torment and her resolve. Their small forms solidified her purpose and a vow in her heart. She would expose the darkness, unveil the truth, and shield Zara and Hana from the insidious plot designed to consume them. This intricate world of power and pretense would not break her. The intricate world of power and pretense would not break her. Yasmin felt the shifting currents of the palace as if it were a living entity, its grandeur now merely a shimmering curtain drawn across deeper, more sinister intentions. Her quiet presence, once a source of gentle warmth, had transformed into an unseen force, a subtle tremor in the carefully constructed facade that Noura had so meticulously erected. She moved with an almost ethereal grace, her senses attuned to every whisper, every averted glance among the staff, each a potential fragment of the puzzle she was determined to solve. The opulence that once threatened to swallow her whole now served as a backdrop to her silent rebellion, its vastness offering both camouflage and a multitude of hidden corners for observation. The phantom scent of sterile liquid, a constant reminder of Noura's unsettling ritual, lingered in the air, mingling with the heavy, sweet notes of Arabian oud. Yasmin's internal clock had recalibrated, marking time not by the sun's ascent, but by the rhythm of Noura's clandestine visits, the moments when the nursery door swung open and closed with an unsettling finality. She watched, a silent witness to a drama unfolding beneath the guise of medical care, her heart a raw knot of protective fear for Zara and Hana. The twins' fragile peace, so recently rediscovered, felt like a precious vessel teetering on the edge of a chasm, threatened by an invisible poison. Khalid's weary form, his eyes shadowed with an unyielding sorrow, was a constant ache in Yasmin's periphery. He remained caught in Noura's intricate web, blinded by a grief that left him vulnerable to manipulation, his powerful hands tied by the very protocols meant to protect his daughters. Yasmin understood his pain, the silent battle he waged within himself, yet empathy could not outweigh the searing urgency of the twins' peril. She longed to tear down the walls of his imposed ignorance, to shatter the illusions that held him captive, but the timing was not yet right. Her weapon was patience, her shield, an unbreakable resolve forged in the fire of a mother's love. Each night, the palace transformed into a labyrinth of shadows and secrets, its hushed corridors echoing with the silent footsteps of Yasmin's reconnaissance. She lingered near the nursery, a silent sentinel, listening to the gentle rhythm of the twins' breathing, a fragile melody that fueled her grim determination. The polished marble beneath her feet was cold, a stark reminder of the chilling reality she faced, yet it also connected her to the very foundations of the place she sought to protect. She sifted through the murmurs of the staff, piecing together fragments of gossip, noting every shift in loyalty, every subtle sign of discomfort when Noura's name was uttered. The palace, once an impenetrable fortress of tradition, was revealing its cracks, its vulnerabilities. The desert wind, carrying whispers of ancient resilience, became her silent confidant. Yasmin knew she was playing a dangerous game, one with stakes far beyond her own life. The lives of Zara and Hana, those two innocent desert roses, depended on her courage, her ability to see beyond the shimmering facade and expose the darkness that sought to consume them. Her resolve hardened with each passing moment, transforming her from a gentle caregiver into a fierce guardian. She would unravel Noura's deceit, unmask the insidious plot, and shield the twins from the venomous shadows, no matter the cost. The coming dawn would not bring solace, but a continuation of her solitary, perilous quest, a silent vow etched into the very stones of the palace. The coming dawn would not bring solace, but a continuation of her solitary, perilous quest, a silent vow etched into the palace stones. Yasmin felt the first blush of rose and gold paint the eastern sky, mocking the turmoil within. Her breath hitched, a silent prayer for strength, as the palace woke around her, oblivious to the clandestine war she waged. Every shadow stretching across polished marble held a secret. Every glint on gilded surfaces seemed to whisper hidden truths. She moved not as a servant, but as a sentinel, senses sharpened, spirit tuned to the palace's shifting rhythm. The faint scent of oud, once a luxury, now felt like a cloak of foreboding, mingling with the metallic tang of something sinister. A resolve, forged in the crucible of a mother's fierce love,
burned bright, an unyielding flame against encroaching darkness. She would not falter. The fragile lives of Zara and Hana, those desert roses, depended on her courage and her ability to navigate the treacherous currents of deception beneath the palace's opulence.
Noura, cloaked in haute couture abayas and a chillingly composed smile, was a formidable adversary, her influence snaking through Khalid's grief. The Sheikh, ensnared by duty and misplaced trust, remained a pawn in Noura's game, his sorrow blinding him to the unfolding malevolence. Yasmin's mind sifted every detail, every hushed conversation, every averted gaze. The palace, once a symbol of impenetrable tradition, revealed cracks and vulnerabilities, a stage for a silent drama of immense stakes. She collected fragments, piecing together Noura's agenda. Each discovery confirmed her fears. The sterile efficiency of Noura's clandestine nursery visits, the unsettling finality of the door swinging shut, the chilling question of what clear, colorless liquid coursed through the twins' tiny vessels, these threads she unraveled, each drawing her closer to the deception's heart. The twins' gentle breathing, once solace, now pulsed with quiet urgency, a reminder of their precarious peace. She longed to shatter the illusions that held Khalid captive, but the timing was not yet right. Patience, meticulous observation, and irrefutable proof were her weapons. No longer simply Yasmin the caregiver, she had become guardian, a silent sentinel between innocence and deceit. The weight of the unspoken battle pressed beneath her calm exterior, yet a new, resilient strength forged itself. Every polished surface, gilded arch, and intricate mosaic became a potential clue in her solitary quest. Her bare feet, hushed on cold marble, echoed her resolve. Each step declared her commitment. The desert wind, carrying whispers of ancient resilience, became her confidant, mirroring her determination. She would not rest until the truth was unveiled, the venomous shadows banished, and Zara and Hana shielded from the plot designed to consume them. This world of power and pretense would not break her. Yasmin was a force, a gentle wind rising against a storm of malice, her heart a beacon of purity. The quiet moments, listening to the twins' fragile breaths, were both torment and resolve. Their small forms solidified her purpose, a vow etched into her soul. She would expose the darkness, unveil the truth, and protect them, no matter the cost. She was ready. The air, thick with anticipation, clung to Yasmin as she moved, a silent hunter within the opulent maze. Each breath was calculated, each step a testament to the steely resolve now animating her. The palace, once a gilded cage, had become her battleground, its vastness a canvas for her strategic mind. Dawn light spilled through arched windows, illuminating dust motes, yet her gaze cut through such distractions, seeking the unseen, the carefully concealed. Noura's phantom presence, a chilling counterpoint to the hush, spurred her forward. Her intuition was a sharpened blade. Her focus narrowed, drawing her toward the medical supply room, a sanctuary of precision that held the key to Noura's scheme. The brass doorknob, cool beneath her touch, offered quiet resistance before yielding. Inside, rows of white cabinets stood like sentinels, each drawer a potential clue, a fragment of truth. The antiseptic tang, usually reassuring, now carried an ominous undertone, a warning of hidden dangers. Yasmin's fingers, once gentle in caregiving, moved with newfound purpose, scanning labels, assessing quantities, feeling for any discrepancy. Her heart hammered a silent rhythm against her ribs, a drumbeat of urgency in the hush. The vials, gleaming under fluorescent lights, seemed identical, each a testament to exactitude. Yet Yasmin's eyes, honed by a mother's fierce love, sought the aberration, the minute flaw that would betray Noura. She recalled Noura's sleek, controlled movements, the chilling precision with which the colorless liquid had been administered to Zara and Hana. The memory fueled her, burning away doubt. It was not a question of if, but where and how Noura had turned healing into slow-acting poison. Her touch, usually tender, now examined each glass container, feeling variances in weight, scrutinizing clarity, searching for cloudiness or sediment that might reveal tampering. A shelf holding vials designated for infants drew her. These were the ones, her instincts insisted. Her gaze swept them with quiet intensity. One vial, seemingly identical, caught her attention. Not a dramatic difference, but a subtle shift in the way light refracted through its contents. A microscopic cloudiness, almost imperceptible, shimmered within the clear liquid, a whisper of impurity against medical perfection. Her breath caught. This was it. This was the proof. The small vial felt heavy in her hand, imbued with the weight of stolen innocence and betrayed trust, a silent testament to the malevolence she fought, a physical manifestation of the darkness threatening Zara and Hana. Cold fury, steady and unwavering, ignited within her. This fragile container of deceit was now her weapon. She knew, with chilling certainty, that revealing its secret would unleash a storm within the palace, shatter the fragile peace, and expose the corruption beneath the gilded facade. The task was immense, the adversaries formidable, but Yasmin's resolve was unyielding. This was not merely survival, it was justice, reclaiming the future for her daughters. The metallic tang in the air sharpened, a prelude to the battle she was now unequivocally ready to wage. She would not only unveil the truth but confront the very heart of the malice. The small vial, a silent harbinger of storm, solidified Yasmin's grim resolve, transforming her internal fury into a sharp, strategic focus. The weight of it in her hand was not just glass and liquid, but the palpable burden of stolen innocence, a tangible key to unlock the palace's hidden deceptions. She moved with purpose, her earlier stealth replaced by a quiet urgency that pulsed through her veins, each heartbeat a testament to the battle now irrevocably joined. The grandeur of the palace, once a source of intimidation, now seemed a brittle shell, easily shattered by the truth she held. She knew confrontation could not be immediate. Proof needed presentation, allies needed securing. Her mind, a whirlwind of protective instinct, sifted through possibilities, settling on Samira. The head governess possessed not only an intimate knowledge of the palace's inner workings, but also a deep, if unspoken, devotion to the twins. Yasmin sought Samira in the sun-drenched antechambers, a neutral ground away from prying eyes. She approached with a carefully constructed calm, discussing the daily routines, the twins' recent restless nights. Samira listened, her expression thoughtful, her eyes reflecting the quiet concern of one who saw beyond superficial appearances. She spoke of Zara's unusual lethargy, Hana's intermittent fevers that seemed to spike after Noura's punctual visits. Each observation, offered without prompting, was a precise click in the intricate lock of Yasmin's suspicions, fitting perfectly with the timeline of the administered liquid. Samira mentioned a peculiar, almost metallic aftertaste she sometimes noticed when feeding the girls, dismissed by others as imagination. But to Yasmin, this was a chilling confirmation. The metallic tang, once a phantom, now solidified into a shared understanding. Yasmin did not reveal the vial directly, but allowed Samira's own acute perceptions to guide their unspoken convergence. A silent glance passed between them, a profound acknowledgement of the sinister truth lurking beneath the palace's opulent veneer. Samira's brow furrowed, her natural grace momentarily overshadowed by a dawning comprehension of malevolence. The head governess, a woman of unwavering loyalty, now saw the fragility of the twins' improved health, the insidious pattern that emerged from Noura's calculated interventions. The carefully constructed facade of medical expertise began to crumble in their shared realization. The two women, one a mother driven by fierce love, the other a protector bound by duty and affection, stood united in a silent, profound resolve. The air around them, usually light with morning activity, grew heavy with the unspoken gravity of their alliance. Yasmin felt a shift, a subtle but powerful change in the dynamics of her solitary quest. She was no longer alone. The burden, though still immense, was now shared, strengthening her purpose. Samira's gaze, steady and unwavering, mirrored Yasmin's own determination, a quiet promise of collaboration against the encroaching darkness. The palace's shadows, once oppressive, now seemed less daunting, pierced by the nascent light of their shared intent. The path ahead remained fraught with peril, but Yasmin knew, with a certainty that settled deep within her soul, that with Samira by her side, the fight for Zara and Hana's future now stood a chance, poised on the precipice of a carefully orchestrated exposure. The whispered alliance, a fragile bloom in the palace's harsh climate, now demanded action. Yasmin, clutching the tampered vial, met Samira's steady gaze, silent acknowledgement of the treacherous path ahead. The morning sun cast long, accusatory shadows across polished marble, mirroring dangers within the peaceful walls. Their plan, hatched in hushed tones under the guise of routine, hinged on an audacious gamble. Prove Noura's interference without arousing suspicion. One misstep could unravel everything, jeopardizing their lives and the fragile futures of Zahra and Hana. The air thrummed with nervous energy, a prelude to an experiment that would expose the truth or doom the twins. They chose a secluded corner of the royal kitchen, usually bustling but now quiet, a silent accomplice. Under the pretext of preparing a soothing tonic for the twins, a common request for Samira, Yasmin prepared 2 samples. One held Noura's usual formula, the other contained the tampered vial, its faint cloudiness magnified in Yasmin's mind. Samira, precise and practiced, arranged identical sterile droppers and 2 porcelain dishes. Silence stretched, broken only by the clinking of glass. Yasmin's hands trembled as she drew the colorless fluid from each vial, distinctions imperceptible to the untrained eye. The test was simple, but perilous. A small jasmine plant, beloved by the twins, became their barometer. Yasmin applied a drop from the control to one leaf, then, with bated breath, a drop from the tampered vial to another. Waiting followed, every tick of the kitchen clock an eternity. Samira's stoic demeanor barely concealed tension. They watched the droplets for any subtle change. The jasmine scent, usually calming, felt heavy with foreboding. Hours crawled by. The control leaf remained healthy. The leaf touched by the tampered liquid showed faint discoloration, dullness spreading from the spot, then subtle yellowing and slight curling at the edges. A slow, undeniable decay. Samira's sharp intake of breath broke the quiet. Her gaze met Yasmin's. The proof, subtle yet irrefutable, was before them. The small leaf, a casualty, confirmed Noura's plot. The poison caused slow decline, mirroring the intermittent fevers and lethargy that had plagued Zahra and Hana, a calculated cruelty disguised as care. Yasmin's heart ached with fierce protective anger. This was deliberate, not negligence. The realization hardened her resolve. The twins' vulnerability fueled a cold, relentless determination. Their fragile hope hardened into an unbreakable pact. The palace, vast and gilded, now felt like a viper's nest. They understood the adversary's power, an authority cloaked in unquestioned medical trust. But fear yielded to urgent purpose. The wilting jasmine leaf, cradled in Yasmin's palm, became a potent symbol of their mission and the delicate lives at stake. The next steps would demand courage and near impossible cunning to navigate the palace's treacherous currents. The battle had erupted, calling for every ounce of strength and conviction to reclaim the future for the innocent. They would not let the desert roses wither. The confirmation of Noura's plot galvanized Yasmin, turning turmoil into a cold resolve. The wilting leaf, a morbid trophy, demanded immediate, calculated action. Time was a luxury Zahra and Hana no longer had. Every ornate detail of the palace, once proof of grandeur, now seemed a potential trap, each shadow a threat. Yasmin and Samira withdrew to a secluded courtyard, the fountains burbled trying to soothe the storm within them. Their hushed voices wove through the morning air, crafting a strategy as intricate as the mosaics underfoot. The challenge was how to expose a deception stitched into medical authority and the Sheikh's trust without shattering the fragile peace that remained. Samira, face grim, suggested confronting Khalid directly with the evidence. Yasmin knew his grief-induced blindness and how Noura had exploited his paternal love and deference to counsel. A direct accusation, however supported, might only harden him, pushing him deeper into Noura's narrative. They needed a witness, an undeniable public demonstration to bypass his vulnerability and confront him with irrefutable truth. The weight of that realization settled on Yasmin. Khalid's loyalty had been disarmed by a poison more potent than any chemical, manipulated trust and fear. The brittle jasmine leaf became their silent co-conspirator. They had to replicate the test in a controlled, observable setting before someone whose authority Khalid respected and who was untainted by Noura. The palace was a closed system. Its inhabitants were either loyal to Noura, wary of power, or too timid to challenge it. Yasmin sifted through faces. It had to be someone within Khalid's trusted circle with an independent mind. Samira's eyes flickered. Rania, she murmured. Yasmin's mother. Audacious, dangerous, but logical. Rania, sharp-witted and unyielding, was revered in the family. She had seen the girls' decline and their fragile recovery under Yasmin's care. Her maternal instincts and life's experience made her a formidable ally. To involve her was to risk her safety, but not to involve her risked everything. The decision solidified. At dawn, Yasmin approached her mother with gravity. She presented the wilting leaf and explained the tampered vial's implications. Rania listened as disbelief turned to shock, then to fierce, quiet anger. Her gaze met Yasmin's with unwavering determination. The matriarch grasped the calculated malevolence masquerading as care. Together they refined the plan, each detail considered, each pitfall anticipated. The palace, once a symbol of tranquility, became a battleground where family bonds would be weapons against deceit. Their strategy required an irrefutable unveiling, forcing Noura to reveal her true hand, unknowingly, before an impartial witness. The stakes were immeasurable: Zara and Hana's future, Khalid's reign, Yasmin's place in the palace. Fear coiled in Yasmin, then yielded to a protective fire. She was fighting for truth, justice, the family's soul. Rania, with quiet authority, began to observe Noura. Subtle shifts, the timing of visits, the theatrical care near Khalid. She noted impatience when unobserved, the faint smirk at odds with her profession. These minute signs were vital threads in a tapestry of deceit. Rania's presence became a watchful sentinel, adding to Yasmin's vigil. The palace became a stage for their counterplot, each room a possible setting for the unveiling. Yasmin kept the tampered vial secure, the wilted jasmine leaf a stark reminder. The moment's weight hummed beneath her calm. The wind through the garden seemed to carry not just night blooms but echoes of resolve. Yasmin knew the final act was approaching. She would meet it with unwavering courage, her heart a fortress of maternal love. The battle for the desert roses would soon reach its crescendo, and she was ready. A profound quietude settled over the marble palace, a stark contrast to the tumultuous echoes of the past. Yasmin, moving through rooms that once held her captive in cold fear, now found each space imbued with the gentle warmth of her thriving family. The crisp morning light, once sterile, danced across polished marble and gilded arches, illuminating the joyous chaos of Zara and Hana. Their laughter, a melody more precious than any courtly symphony, replaced the desolation of earlier cries, echoing through the halls as a living testament to healing and restored innocence. Yasmin, watching them chase each other through sun-drenched courtyards, felt her heart expand with a love that transcended memory, a fierce, protective tenderness rooted in shared struggle and hard-won peace. She saw not just the children she now called her own, but resilient desert roses, flourishing vibrantly under the steadfast sun of unconditional affection, a true marvel. Khalid, his gaze often finding hers across a room, no longer carried the haunted burden of grief. His smile, once rare, was now constant, unburdened by pretense or status. He found deep solace in Yasmin's quiet strength, in the pure joy and authentic connection she brought into their lives. Their hands would meet, a silent communion of souls that had weathered the storm and emerged stronger together. Rania, a permanent fixture, wove tales of heritage and wisdom, grounding the twins in traditions that enriched their present. Samira, ever vigilant, oversaw the household with a renewed sense of purpose, her loyalty a silent guardian of their harmony and happiness. The palace, once a symbol of grandeur, transformed under Yasmin's touch into a vibrant home, each intricate pattern reflecting cherished moments, not despair. The faint oud scent, no longer heavy with foreboding, mingled with jasmine from the gardens, a blend of ancient luxury and nurturing comfort. Zara and Hana, their tiny hands exploring the wonders of their world, were living proof that love, not blood, forged unbreakable bonds. They were pearls on velvet, exquisite and precious, their existence a vibrant tableau of pure joy and boundless potential. Yasmin, once a humble caregiver, now walked as the palace's true mistress, not by decree, but by a transformative love that had defied all odds. Her journey had been arduous, marked by betrayal and despair, yet each step had led her to this deeply profound fulfillment. The future, a promising landscape, stretched before them, not without its unknowns, but faced together as a united family. The quiet hum of domestic bliss, the intertwined breaths of sleep, the playful shouts echoing through the palace gardens. These were the golden threads of a life rebuilt, a testament to enduring love and resilience. Yasmin held Zara and Hana close each evening, their small bodies warm and trusting, a silent vow whispered in the fading light of Doha's vibrant skyline. This chosen family, a precious bloom, was an ongoing miracle, defying its origins, cherished under the vast, star-pricked sky. The peace they found was not an absence of conflict, but the unwavering presence of true connection, a legacy etched indelibly in their harmonized hearts, promising an endless succession of tranquil dawns. The tranquil dawns, promised in the quiet harmony of their intertwined breaths, unfolded with a beauty that deepened Khalid's every waking moment. The palace, once a gilded monument to his solitude, now thrummed with the energy of a living home, each day weaving new threads into their chosen family. Yasmin, a constant beacon of grace and resilience, moved through the sun-drenched rooms, her presence a silent counterpoint to the boisterous joy of Zahra and Hana. Their laughter, bright and unburdened, echoed through the arches, a symphony of rediscovered innocence Khalid cherished above all. He watched them, his heart swelling with gratitude so profound it bordered on reverence, a quiet acknowledgement of the miracle Yasmin had brought into his barren life. The girls, robust and full of mischief, chased each other across the polished marble, small forms that testified to the love that had nurtured them back to health. Each evening, as the desert sky bled into rose and violet, he gathered them close. Their trusting weight in his arms reaffirmed a future secured, a legacy redefined not by bloodline, but by the unshakable foundation of shared affection. The scent of jasmine from the gardens, mingled with oud, no longer spoke of sorrow, but of enduring hope, a fragrant promise on the gentle breeze through their sanctuary. This was the peace he had yearned for, a refuge forged from ashes, built brick by painstaking brick on Yasmin's courage. He felt deep contentment, a certainty that the greatest battles lay behind them and only serene happiness stretched ahead. Yet amidst this perfect tableau, a subtle shift began to stir at the edge of his consciousness. It was nothing he could pinpoint, no discordant note in their harmony, just a fleeting sense of something, a shadow crossing the sun, a chill on an otherwise warm breeze. He dismissed it as a ghost of past anxieties, a phantom ache from wounds now healed. But the sensation persisted, a faint hum beneath his tranquil days, a disquiet he couldn't name. He caught a fleeting expression in Zara's eyes, a momentary blankness before her usual sparkle returned, or a brief stillness in Hana's boundless energy. He rationalized these as childhood ebbs and flows, quiet pauses in vibrant play. Still, the images resurfaced in the study after the palace settled and the moon cast long silver shadows. He recalled with unease the clinical precision of Noura's movements, the unwavering confidence in her voice, a memory that retained authority despite everything. Almost unconsciously, he observed the twins more closely at meals, noting slight hesitations before certain tonics, the way small hands paused before reaching for a favored treat. Were these mere pickiness or something more? Such questions gathered, not as accusations, but as silent observations that refused dismissal. He saw Yasmin's unwavering vigilance, and an older, more cynical part of him wondered if her peace, hard-won, was also fragile, constantly defended. He brushed the thought aside to avoid tarnishing their joy, yet it lingered like a pebble in his shoe. His past trust in medical authority, once shattered, made him second-guess instincts, fearing he might again see threats where none existed. The palace, with its intricate secrets, seemed to breathe around him, and he, once its unquestioned master, felt a current pulling at the edges of his serenity. The dawn, bringing another day of apparent perfection, carried with it an almost imperceptible weight, an unspoken uncertainty taking root deep within Khalid's contented heart. This nascent disquiet, a quiet ripple in the ocean of his happiness, promised to reshape the landscape he had so carefully built, demanding a vigilance he had hoped to leave behind. The serenity of his days now held a faint tremor, a distant echo of a storm he had believed long past. This unease, at first dismissed as the phantom limb of old anxieties, began to insist itself, weaving through his thoughts like a thin thread of doubt. He replayed trivial moments now charged with new meaning. The confidence in Noura's eyes, once professional assurance, acquired a chilling edge, a calculated certainty out of place in infant care. He remembered Yasmin's quiet vigilance, her slight stiffening whenever Noura's name came up, a defensive posture he had once linked to past conflict, but now felt like an unacknowledged warning. The memory of the tampered vial and the wilting jasmine leaf still haunted him, a scar on the canvas of his rebuilt life, making him hypersensitive to any hint of deceit. His attention to Zara and Hana grew meticulous, less indulgent, more scrutinous. He noticed a tiny shoulder slump after visits from the new medical team, a fleeting pallor that would vanish almost as soon as it came. He watched Yasmin's unspoken concern, a shadow in her usually luminous gaze when the twins were unusually quiet or ate less. He catalogued these deviations, an internal inventory of inconsistencies pricking his conscience. The grand chambers, once testament to tranquil prosperity, sometimes felt like a stage where currents flowed beneath a polished surface. Tapestries, mosaics, even the air seemed to harbor unspoken truths. The quiet understanding with Yasmin, the bedrock of their stability, suddenly felt vulnerable, threatened by a suspicion he dared not voice. How to name this phantom disquiet without casting a shadow over the peace they'd fought for? His hands, used to shaping a nation's destiny, felt impotent against an undefined threat. He wanted a clear enemy to face, not this nebulous dread whispering at his edges. The weight of past mistakes, his blindness to Noura's cunning, pressed on him, making him question his judgment. Was he projecting old fears onto the present, or was a reawakened intuition pointing to a truth he had tried to bury? Each dawn sharpened the unease instead of erasing it, revealing dissonance in their harmony. His daughter's shouts, though a source of joy, sometimes carried a faint echo of fragility. He watched them with renewed protectiveness, vowing silently to shield them. The jasmine scent, once comforting, now carried an undertone of something fragile, like a bloom threatened by unseen blight. He spent longer hours in his study. Rich oud filled the air as he searched for answers, sifting memories, piecing fragments of a half-forgotten dream. The polished desk reflected not just moonlight but the deepening furrow in his brow. He observed the household too, catching fleeting expressions, gestures, a ripple of unease at certain topics. Samira, loyal, now bore a guardedness his heightened senses noted. Was it household strain, or something more? The questions he had brushed aside now demanded attention, forming a slow tide that threatened his contentment. He yearned to confide in Yasmin, yet held back, unwilling to disturb her hard-won joy without concrete answers. The palace's vastness, once a symbol of security, felt like a repository of secrets. The mosaic's patterns seemed to twist into a maze mirroring his confusion. He recognized this disquiet was no mere ghost of the past, but a call for renewed vigilance, a summons to awaken from tranquil slumber and confront whatever shadows threatened his most cherished treasure. The illusion of perfect peace was fraying at the edges, revealing glimpses of a reality that compelled him to look deeper. The path ahead was unclear, shrouded by a tension that promised to test the foundations of his reclaimed happiness. A subtle dissonance now resonated within Khalid, an elusive chord beneath the surface of his carefully constructed tranquility. Once commanding empires with decisive clarity, he felt adrift in a sea of unspoken doubts, each ripple threatening the peace he cherished. The marble palace, meant to cradle his contentment, only amplified the discord. Its echoing halls whispered of mysteries he could no longer ignore. He watched Zara and Hana's bright laughter like a balm, yet in their joy, he sometimes glimpsed a fragile shadow in their eyes that pricked his protective instincts. These minute shifts, nearly invisible to others, stirred a vigilance he had believed laid to rest. He lingered longer with them, studying small gestures and nuances, searching for the source of this growing unease, a silent alarm chiming in his chest. The palace's changing rhythm, once mere daily ebb and flow, now felt ominous in his analytical mind. Hushed staff conversations, averted glances when certain topics arose, the tension in Samira's usually stoic manner. Threads he had dismissed now wove a chilling tapestry of suspicion. His mind, used to dissecting strategy and loyalty, turned inward, replaying interactions with relentless precision, seeking patterns in the seemingly random. The jasmine from the gardens, once comforting, carried a medicinal undertone mingled with heavy oud, conjuring memories of sterile rooms and calculated deception. He recognized the insidious erosion of trust, more dangerous than any overt threat. His gaze often sought Yasmin, her presence a grounding force. He noted her dedication, quiet strength, and the fierce fire in her eyes whenever the twins' safety was at stake. The fatigue etched around her eyes filled him with profound guilt. Had he been so consumed by his own happiness that he failed to see the burden she carried? Her intuitive bond with Zara and Hana, once a wonder, now shone like a beacon, hinting at truths he was only beginning to perceive. He recalled her protectiveness during Noura's terrifying tenure, once dismissed as overzealous, returning now as prescient wisdom he had ignored. The memory of the tampered vial, an old nightmare, surfaced with vivid clarity, no longer buried, but a premonition of present danger. He remembered the wilting jasmine leaf, a silent casualty of a calculated plot, and a cold dread settled in his gut. Was the peace they'd built merely an illusion, a reprieve from a darkness never truly banished? The thought affronted everything he held dear, yet his intuition, once quieted, now demanded full attention. He strode the grand halls, steps measured, thoughts a whirlwind of fear and resolve. The mosaics on the polished floors, once aesthetic delight, now transformed into cryptic diagrams, each tile part of a dark puzzle he felt compelled to solve. His domain, once an unshakable sign of power, had become an ornate stage for unseen manipulations where threats could fester beneath gilding. He yearned for a clear, identifiable enemy, rather than this creeping dread. Palace nights, once soothing, now felt heavy with unspoken truths, every creak a possible revelation. Moonlight cast ghostly shadows across the gardens, familiar shapes turned ominous, mirroring his eroding trust. He knew he could no longer dismiss these feelings. The foundation of his happiness demanded unsparing inspection. He would penetrate veils of pretense, confront the lurking shadows, and protect what he loved. This awareness marked an irreversible turning point, pushing him toward a confrontation he had long avoided. Dawn would bring new light, and with it, an unyielding resolve to unveil the machinations and secure his family's future, whatever the cost.